are the real monsters? The aliens we feared for decades, or the humans who tried to play God? In the finale of Alien, Earth, Wendy rises, Cavalier falls, and the island becomes a battlefield where power, loyalty, and survival collide. And by the end, one thing is clear: the monsters aren't always who we think they are. Welcome back to Review. I'm glad you're here because today, we're diving deep into the explosive and chilling finale of Alien. Earth, Episode 8, The Real Monsters. This is the episode that ties together everything. The betrayals, the philosophy, the haunting presence of the Xenomorphs, and Wendy's evolution into something far beyond what anyone could have imagined. If you've been watching along, you know this is more than just sci-fi horror. It's a story about control, rebellion, and what it means to grow beyond your creators. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss any of our cinematic deep dives here on Review. Now let's step into the finale. The episode opens with a haunting image: Arthur's lifeless body washed up on the shore. Before anyone else finds him, a xenomorph approaches, watching silently from the jungle. That creature, lurking and waiting, sets the tone. Predators are everywhere, and no one is safe. Meanwhile, Dame Sylvia mourns at the children's graves, a quiet moment that's instantly shattered when the xenomorph nearly kills her. Soldiers save her at the last second, but not without cost. The alien continues its rampage, slaughtering dozens across the island. Inside Prodigy's collapsing empire, Adam urges Boy Kavalier to evacuate, but the so-called boy genius isn't listening. Instead of facing the crisis, he obsesses over old footage of Wendy as a child, whispering to the eye, craving a worthy connection. At the same time, Wendy and the other hybrids sit imprisoned in Containment Cell A. Tension simmers. Curly asks why they're here. Nibs lashes out, accusing others of betrayal. And Wendy, torn between her hybrid family and her brother, reminds them all of the story of Peter Pan. They're trapped, she says, because they're not children anymore. But they're not adults either. Then she delivers the chilling twist: the humans should be the ones afraid. With that, Wendy taps into her power, disabling the cameras and sending out sounds to communicate with the xenomorph. The tide is starting to shift. The humans may think they're in control, but Wendy is already turning the island into her playground. She begins by tormenting Sylvia, hacking into tech to replay haunting clips of the children's past. One voice loops endlessly, "We'll be okay, won't we?" The psychological warfare designed to break her spirit. Elsewhere, Hermit and Morrow remain locked away. They discuss what it means to be more than human cyborgs, hybrids, synths. Their conversation is bleak, but it underscores the show's theme: what's the cost of playing God? Meanwhile, Prodigy's guards think they're in control. But Wendy sets a fake self-destruct countdown in an elevator, nearly breaking their nerves before casually opening the doors at the last second. Through all this chaos, Wendy keeps her eye on Hermit. She remembers writing him a letter during the war, and when she finally releases him and Morrow, it's bittersweet. She still feels his betrayal, but their bond isn't entirely broken. Morrow, though, has no intention of forgiveness. He vows to burn Neverland to the ground. His vendetta is clear, but Wendy, she's playing a bigger game. Now, let's talk about Boy Kavalier, the so-called genius whose empire is crumbling around him. He taunts the hybrids in their cell, mocking them like toys he no longer wants. When Curly challenges him, Wendy snaps her fingers, and to his shock, the cell door opens. Cavalier responds with a story. He recalls building his first synth at just 6 years old to kill his abusive father. That child grew into the trillionaire who built Prodigy. But instead of wisdom, it only gave him arrogance. As he brags, the Lost Boys rise. Nibs takes down his armed guard, and Wendy delivers one of the coldest lines of the season: "Run!" Cavalier, the untouchable genius, does just that. He runs. Wendy turns the hybrids loose, sending Nibs after Sylvia, Jane toward the soldiers, and reminding everyone: no one touches her brother. For the first time, the boy genius is prey. The finale doesn't just pit hybrids against humans. It pits creators against their own creations. In the lab, Morrow and Kirsch clash in a brutal fight of cyborg versus synth. Morrow breaks Kirsch's body, but while distracted, he's choked out. Even in destruction, Prodigy's creations keep tearing each other apart. Elsewhere, Adam escorts Hermit to meet Cavalier, but the Eye has escaped its container, leaping for Hermit. Wendy saves him only to be attacked by Adam. In one of the most shocking reveals, Wendy freezes Adam in place because he's a synthetic and she now controls the network. The power dynamic flips in an instant, and then comes the emotional knife. Hermit tries to explain himself, but Wendy fires back. That is what powerless people say, and I am not powerless. She admits why she likes the aliens. Not because they're kind, but because they're honest predators. Humans, in comparison, are liars. It's a chilling, defining moment for Wendy. While Wendy plays her chessboard, the other pieces move into place. Slightly and Smee tie up Kirsch and Morrow, ending their struggle for dominance. Nibs stalks Sylvia. Soldiers fall one by one to the Xenomorph. But the most unsettling image comes on the beach. The Eye, that grotesque, intelligent creature, crawls into Arthur's corpse. His body jerks up, alive in some twisted new form. The nightmare is far from over. Back at the facility, Wendy gathers her captives. Cavalier, Morrow, Kirsch, Sylvia, Adam. She strips away their illusions. Cavalier wanted to be Peter Pan, but in her words, he's nothing more than a hateful man. Then, with the adult and baby Xenomorphs watching from outside, Wendy declares, "We rule." It's not just a line, it's a declaration of war. Beneath the horror, the real monsters is about identity, power, and growing beyond your creators. The title itself is a challenge. Who are the real monsters? The Xenomorphs mindless in their hunger? Or the humans who built Prodigy, who played God and treated children as experiments? The episode also belongs to Sydney Chandler as Wendy. Across the season, we've watched her evolve from cautious to commanding, from conflicted to ruthless. Her performance is layered, moments of pain, flashes of humor, and chilling authority. When she delivers lines like, "Run," or reminds her brother that she's not powerless, the weight lands. Visually, the finale pulls out all the stops. From unsettling split diopter shots to gory creature kills, the claustrophobic island feels massive in scope. And while the CGI occasionally falters, the dread never lets go. Most importantly, the finale leaves us with questions. With Arthur's corpse now possessed by the Eye, Weyland-Yutani preparing to invade, and Wendy standing at the head of a hybrid revolution, what happens next? Alien. Earth ends its first season not with closure, but with fire. Wendy has declared rule. Hermit struggles with what his sister is becoming. Cavalier has been humiliated, but he's still alive. And Arthur's body may now host one of the most terrifying creatures yet. This is the kind of finale that doesn't just end a season. It dares you to imagine the war to come. So now I want to hear from you. Who do you think the real monsters are? The humans, the hybrids, or the Xenomorphs? And where do you think Wendy's path will take her in Season 2? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive from Review. Until then, stay curious, stay cinematic.